Uganda Law Society House. We are so honored to have you here. We want to thank God for thus far that He has brought us today, the 7th day of August 2025. The Uganda Law Society is excited and honored to have you here today. And just like it has always been, week after week, it is our mandate as enshrined in the Uganda Law Society Act, Section 3, to help the public and members on matters that are touching the law and help the government in matters administration. And one of the ways that we do this is by hosting this talk show, this Rnblive show, in which we discuss topical issues every other week that affect the public for us to espouse this particular mandate. We would like to thank you, members that are physically present at the Secretariat, members that are online. As we all know, we have a very, very large following on different social media platforms, on YouTube, on X, formerly Twitter, and on Zoom, as well as Facebook. We'd like to thank you once again. We want to honor you by thanking you for honoring this invitation and promise you that we are going to have a very beautiful ride. Before we go any further, we would like to offer the day to the Lord by beginning with an opening prayer that is going to come from one of our very own, Mr. Umar. Please, thank you so much.
Good morning, everyone. Let's humble ourselves for a word of prayer. Dear Lord, we thank you for this beautiful morning. We thank you for the gift of life. We thank you for enabling our speakers to come safely, and may please give them journey mercies as they go back. As we're going to go through this session, may please bring words of wisdom that will educate us and help the rest that are hearing them. Bless the day. We surrender it to your day. May you please open models for us. In the name we have prayed. Amen.
Thank you so much, Umar. There's nothing better than a prayer that begins the day. And for the wisdom, knowledge, and understanding that has been prayed for, we are so honored to have guest speakers, a few of our guest speakers. And as we're invited, as we shall be getting to know from the program, we still have a number of others coming in with apologies. In the meantime, because it is also time that we keep, we would like to continue with the program. We're going to have a program that is going to, after the prayer, we're going to have discussions, and we shall have very, very important, distinguished guests that are going to delve into the topics that are going to be discussed. And eventually we shall have a question and answer session where we shall want to interact with the public, those physically present and those online, for us to appreciate what is being discussed, because that is the spirit of what we are doing. And thereafter, we shall have a photo moment, as is always the culture, at the Radical New Bar, in order to wind the day. So before further ado, I would like to invite the head of department, rule of law, that is Ms. Afra Apio, who is going to render unto us opening remarks from the Chief Executive Officer in her absence, in order for us to have the day set in motion. Thank you so much, Ms. Afra.
Esteemed guests, Honorable Captain Edward Francis Babu, Mr. Ben Otim, NRM flag bearer from Maruzi North Apache 2026 to 2031, Ms. Naigaga Harriet, NRM aspiring woman member of parliament for Kaliro District 2026-2031, distinguished council members present online, distinguished members of Uganda Law Society present both physically and online, members of the press, and the public present both physically and online. Good morning. My name is Apio Afra. I'm the head rule of law. I am representing the CEO, Ms. Christina Wari, who is currently attending another equally important engagement this morning. My chief task this morning is to read her opening remarks verbatim, and I shall proceed to do so. On behalf of the Radical New Bar President, Mr. Isaac Semakade Senior Counsel, I am delighted to welcome you all to the 30th session of the Rnblive series, a hybrid digital and physical engagement convened every Thursday to foster open dialogue between the RNB, the press, and the public. This innovative platform is the brainchild of our dynamic RNB president, and it has grown to become a vibrant space for legal and civil discourse. Today, we gather to discuss two critical topics that are pertinent to our nation's development and the well-being of our citizens. Our first topic this morning, ladies and gentlemen, is labor externalization and human trafficking. Labor externalization is a growing trend in Uganda's economy, with many Ugandans seeking employment opportunities abroad. While this has proved to bring benefits such as remittances and skills transfer, it also raises concerns about the vices such as human trafficking, worker exploitation, job insecurity, and the impact on local labor markets. We will delve into the pros and cons of labor externalization, exploring its implications for Uganda's economy and workers. Our other topic this morning is the NRM primaries and the decline of democracy. The recent NRM primaries have sparked debate about the state of democracy in Uganda. We will discuss the challenges facing democratic processes in our country, including issues of party nominations, electoral integrity, and the role of the opposition. This discussion is crucial in understanding the health of our democracy and identifying ways to strengthen our democratic institutions, especially towards the upcoming general elections due next year. Allow me also to talk about the upcoming Tech Festival event. It is with great pleasure that I remind you all of our inaugural Legal Tech Festival, which is scheduled to take place on the 14th and 15th of August 2025 at the Munyonyo Commonwealth Resort. The theme for this year's festival is A Radical Leap into the Digital Future of Justice. The primary objective of the Legal Tech Festival is to explore the impact of innovations, delivery of services, globalization, and access to justice. Furthermore, we will address critical issues including digital rights, data protection, AI regulation, and the establishment of secure, accountable, and ethical digital justice systems. It is our aim to ensure that technology serves all practitioners and communities, especially those in rural and underrepresented areas. The Legal Tech Festival will be a distinguished event, and it will serve as the flagship gathering of the ULS. This inaugural event hopes to unite over 4,000 members of the legal fraternity and key stakeholders to engage in discussions on significant advancements that affect not only the legal profession, but also the broader ecosystem. Participants will have the opportunity to exchange experiences and insights, showcase groundbreaking innovations and technologies, and thereby acquire valuable knowledge and best practices. Through this bar, press and public engagement, we aim to, among other things, foster a deep understanding of the issues affecting our society. I encourage informed public discourse and debate, provide a platform for stakeholders to share their perspectives and expertise, and promote collaboration and partnership between the legal profession, the media, and the public. I would like to thank our distinguished guests, participants, and the general public for joining us today. Your contributions will undoubtedly enrich our discussion and provide valuable insights into the topics at hand. With that, I declare this engagement open, and I look forward to a productive and enlightening discussion. Thank you. Signed, Christian Awori, CEO.
Thank you so much, Ms. Afra, the head of Rule of Law. We would like to thank you for delivering that message. We received the message with gratitude from the CEO, Ms. Christina Awori. We take it in good strides. Ladies and gentlemen, we're on the move and the excitement is just beginning. We have two very interesting topics, but of course, like we said earlier on, we are yet to receive the guest speakers who are supposed to take us through the first topic, which is labor externalization and human trafficking. And we shall be in position to address the issue when the time is right. In the meantime, we are going to delve into the topic that, of course, has been awash the public, the social media, NRM primaries that we all aware of. I think in all news channels and all TV stations and radio stations across the country, there's been a lot of information going on about the NRM primaries. And none other than NRM members to discuss the very issues that are in-house, but of course, public. The NRM primaries that we all know have been ongoing is just one of the discussions towards the general elections. As we get closer to the elections, there is always going to be a lot of political information ongoing. But for the public, the guests, and the general membership to know, we as the Uganda Law Society have a mandate as a neutral party to host all different kinds of parties. Let it not be thought or imagined that we are hosting the NRM because they are the only ones available. For your information, we shall give the background of the different political parties that we have been hosting. Just for you to know, on the 3rd day of July, we were able to host Major General retired Mugisha Muntu, who is the president of the Alliance for National Transformation, ANT, who came and helped us understand a few things, of course, regarding politics and political parties. Then on the 24th of April, we hosted Her Excellency Major Jessica Rose Epel Alupo, the Vice President of the Republic of Uganda, who represented the President of the Republic of Uganda and the Chairperson of the NRM at the commemoration of the life of the late His Holiness Pope Francis, who passed away. On the 21st of March, we hosted the Honorable Norbert Mao, who is the Minister of Justice and Constitutional Affairs, but as well the President of the Democratic Party. Before that, we hosted the Lord Mayor Arias Lukwago, who has been appointed currently as the President of the People's Front for Freedom, PFF. And we can assure you that we shall continue to provide this platform for all political actors, because that is exactly what is driving us. Before that, we also hosted, very recently, 2 months ago, we hosted the principal of the National Unity Platform, His Excellency Kyagulanyi Robert Sentamu, commonly known as Bobby Wine. So it is not anything new to us. We are used to having these faces, the things and the people that you see on TV, the Radical Nuba hosts physically. So we want to thank the council, we want to thank the management of the Uganda Law Society for bringing it closer to us to interact with these individuals. The recent NRM primaries, as we are all aware in Uganda, were held across 72,000 villages, where a major step towards the 2026 general elections, like we've said, with over 9.2 voters participating. The process, of course, while it was not without any flaws, we need to appreciate that of all the parties that we are aware of, it's the NRM that has been in position to handle such mass elections. You can see from Adjumani, Arua, West Nile, to Southwest, Kabale, Kanungu, to Soroti, to Moroto, to Lira, Apache, Kaberamaido, and of course we can all bear witness that the NRM, of course, is the party in government, but we also appreciate that it is not so easy to organize such national events. And the primaries, as were held, not without flaws, like we are going to hear from the people who participated in these primaries. We have to appreciate the progress that the government and the country has made over the past so many years. Nonetheless, we are the Uganda Law Society. It is our role, it is our mandate to be a watchdog towards government, to check and enable access to justice, rule of law, constitutionalism, and good governance. And today, we are going to have the honor to hear from a few selected participants who were able to be reached out and allowed and gave us the privilege to hear them out on their particular accounts of what transpired. With us today, like has been read in the message from the CEO, we are going to be in the presence of 3 distinguished guests who are going to take us through their accounts. Without further ado, and seeing by the panel that we have, ladies first. We are going to have an aspiring woman MP for Kaliro District, whose vision is to cultivate a just, inclusive, and prosperous Kaliro District where every woman, youth, and family has access to quality education, healthcare, economic opportunity, and meaningful role in decision making. The mission is to serve as a transformative and accountable leader who champions gender equality, improves public service delivery, and promotes sustainable economic development with a specific focus on uplifting women and young people in Kaliro District. Her leadership values are honesty, transparency, people-centered leadership, equity, and social justice. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Naigaga Harriet, and we would like to request that the House put your hands together for a lady who is distinguished and is ready to speak to us. Please. Come this way.
Hello, everyone. I'm humbled to be part of this presentation. Like you've heard, I'm a Mrs., I'm not a Miss. Mrs. Naigaga Harriet. Sorry? Okay. As said earlier, I'm humbled to be part of this team. By name, Mrs. I'm Mrs. Naigaga Harriet. I can add Kakande, though on my documents, there is Naigaga Harriet. That's why usually you'll find when I'm being recognized with Naigaga Harriet. I'm an aspirant, and for sure I was part of the primaries that we just accomplished, but I lost. But among the reasons that's why I lost, because this is what I'm seeing here, I would like to say that NRM party is not a bad party. It's a good party. It is an organized party. And for sure, it is the only party with democracy. The challenge is with the administrators. The problem is not the party. And here, I would like to encourage other parties to actually join NRM. You have good ideas. If you actually brought them in, they can only just blend and mold it to be the best, but not saying that it's the worst or it's a bad party. One of the reasons that's why I say it's a good party, they give us a right, or they give the community the right to choose their own leader. It is not left in the few This executive members who will sit and decide for the community. So I see it as a distinguished party, which really deserves a credit. Where I can only advise a little is there is less public awareness. Not awareness of the land one, but the illiterate ones, the one on the grassroots, the ones who are suffering. They are not aware of their rights. They are not aware of what they are meant to do. They are filled with intimidation that they find maybe electing as a wastage of time. Because at times the candidates, more so the ones who are in power, there is that kind of lack of discipline for the community, where they tend to show them that whether you vote them or you don't, they will actually go through. And at times you find that they're actually going through without the community interest. So, as an aspirant, I'm not good at blaming, but I usually like looking at a solution. Where is the solution? The solution is to ask the administrators to do their role. For example, if they are told, like they are meant to go to the community and make the community aware of their rights, why they should vote, their powers. For sure, they are the ones with the most powers. But they are showed like they have no value. They are nothing. These guys are using money to only focus on these administrators up, the registrars, and the others are nothing. And when you look at the way they conduct it, people are not voting. 70% never vote. 30% are the ones who go through the right procedures. The rest just sit down and they just give out the marks, the votes, the number of voters. They say, so-and-so should be given maybe 500 or something, depending on who has paid something to them. And this has left the community desperate because they are never worked upon. They are never looked at. There is no service, but it's a business. Politics in my district is a business. It's not for service. I will only talk about where I know. My district, Kadiro district. People have no value. The community has no value. And they will never feel our leadership. That's why they are hating up the president, the chairman of the party, because they assume that they are the only ones who are supposed to benefit. And their only time of enjoying is this time of election. Because they are aware that when they call them, they will live with at least 1,000 in their pocket. After elections, they will never be worked upon. So the challenge, what I have to say, is let the administrators do their work, let them go back and talk to the community members such that they learn their value in this activity, and they should be aware of their role. All of them should be taught about the roles of, for example, if they are talking of agents, I think all community members should be agents. They should know what the role of the registrar. But you'll find a problem where the registrar doesn't even know how to read, but it's the registrar. The agent doesn't know how to read, but it's the agent. They choose or they just select anyone who is easy to confuse. And this is not only in the primaries, but even in the structures. That's what happened. They even vote people who don't know that they are supposed to be there. And then these people are coming in, they are getting positions when they even don't know their roles. So that has affected the party, and the community looks at it as if it's a game. So whoever comes and you have some cash, they are happy to receive you, but they have benefited nothing. and mainly from my district. If you go down there and research, the community has benefited nothing. It's only the few who surround the leaders who are benefiting, but the rest, nothing. So NRM is not the problem. The problem is the administrators who need to know why they are paid, if actually they are paid. And the other problem are the leaders that they are electing. Maybe they are not trained to know what the community needs. They are thinking that maybe the community has interest in the 2000, in the 1000 during the period of elections, because they will never go back until this period comes. So to me, I wanted to just highlight and to defend the party. Because if I think I'm a party member of NRM, and then I come here and I only speak evil, yet I'm not telling you where the problem is, then I'm the problem. So NRM is the best party to join. And let me tell you guys, when you say that you're in opposition, it doesn't mean that you're an enemy. But I would like to say that even NRM can be an advisor to the opposition side. For example, look at the mission as why you're coming in to save the people. Because if you said that you want to change the community and you're only inciting violence, then there are times I'm disturbed. I don't know why you're coming in. You rather leave everything to be the way it is, or you join, or you advise rightly. We are many, but at least I wanted to give you the background of how the primaries ran and where the challenge is, believing that the party remains standing as the only one with democracy. I want you to sit back and watch the rest and see if they have given the people the opportunity to choose their own. The ones who have the right agenda are the ones who are misusing it. Not the party, but the administrators. Once again, I say administrators. So I have raised the issues. If at all this media can be able to make these points reach the right recipients, I think it will work out. And by the time we reach 2026, everyone will have interest of going to vote. But the fact is, people never voted. There was no reliability of the information that they were producing. Those numbers of 600 in one LOC, they are not there. 400, they are not there, because I was there on the ground. The issue was, who is the smart thief? It was all about being smart. So if you're smart, you bring the papers, people forge the signatures, then you're the winner. But there was no reliability of the information, and then there is no committee. How can you say that a candidate will supervise themselves? I'm the candidate, or we are the candidates, but we are supervising ourselves. I think they also need an external person who will go on and supervise everything that is taking place, who is independent, who will go and really confirm the information that they are giving. There were 600 voters. Where do you get them in an LOC? They are not there. The majority would be 130. Those ones have really given in their time. And that was 30%. So, is it a bell? Yes. I had something like a bell. So, to me, I'm only fighting towards a solution. I'm not fighting towards blaming, but if I have an idea on where to guide, then I think I'm of value than when I come here and start abusing everyone. So we need supervisors, external supervisors, who are able to give the right information about what happened. Lastly, for now, I would like to thank the media, which has the concern of the community. But let me assure you the truth that people are suffering. The community is suffering at the expense of the few selected selfish leaders who are their own leaders. They are not community leaders, because no one will respect you. No one will feel comfortable with a leader who has elected themselves. What I mean is, you use the power, your power, you use the money, and use the few registrars, and then maybe the chairman LLC one, those ones sat down, 3 people or 4, and then they are the ones who are deciding for the rest. I can give my friends also opportunity to say something, but I have at least defended the party. The party has no problem. The virus is us, who are the administrators. And if we don't, like now when they were sensitizing on HIV, because now this literature of people knowing their right, why they should vote, how to vote, their roles, it should be also in their language, on radios. There is these things of kalakasa, those kalakasa thing. I don't know how they call it in English. Like they used to put songs, sensitize people of their rights. If they want that virus to go away, then public awareness should be also invested in by employing people who will have time to go down there and tell people the truth. Then the government will change. The difference here is now people here in Kampala, the TV is near, so the president is able to tell where dissatisfaction is. Now in the village, where the majority are, they will never know. They will only see a few who are jubilating, who have been bought. So thank you for your time. Find a blessing being part of us.
Thank you so much for that breakdown of your account regards the NRM primaries. There was a certain discussion on one of the radio stations as to whether we should refer to the candidates as honorables before the time comes when you are elected member of parliament. But in the meantime, we shall still refer to you as an aspiring member of parliament. We're praying that the Lord will hear your prayers and that you will maneuver through the elections and the title of honorable. Thank you for the clarion call to join the party. Every man for himself, and everybody has a position to push forth. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much once again for continuing to be with us. We are not going to take so much time. We shall also invite the next speaker, who is going to also give us an account before we close it up with the third speaker in regard to this topic. We were also joined in the meantime by a representative of the Ministry of Gender, Labor and Social Development, who is going to take us through the other topic of labor externalization and human trafficking. In the meantime, we shall go forth to listen to a lawyer who is the NRM flag bearer for Maruzi North Apache District 2026-2031, whose mission is effective representation for the people of Maruzi North. We would like members to welcome. Okay. We're sorry. We are going to. We shall listen to Captain, who is here with us, who has another program. Sorry for the mix. He is a part of us, and he has honored us with this invitation. He's a trained pilot at the Oxford Training School. in Britain and worked with the East African Airways in the 1970s. He later on went to work for Nigeria Airways in West Africa. He returned to Uganda and soon joined politics. In 1989, he was elected as a councillor in Nakasero in the Kampala Resistance Council. Very long ago, in the same year, he was elected to the National Resistance Council in the Parliament of Uganda. But more than that, in 1993, he was elected to the Constituent Assembly representing Kampala Central. 1 year after, in 94, he was appointed Minister for State for Primary Education, and in 98, he was appointed Minister for Energy. In 1999, he was appointed State Minister for Housing, and then became MP for Kampala Central from 1996 to 2006, making him the first MP for Kampala, where he served for 10 years. Currently, he's involved in business ventures, continues to play a role in Uganda's aviation, fraternity, and business sectors, and is very involved in Ugandan politics and well known for speaking his mind. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome with me, Honorable Captain Francis Babu. Thank you. Is that
Yeah, he wants me to stand. I've got a problem with the sciatic nerve. That is something that comes from the back here. It's to do with age. All of you are very young. You can stand up and jump. I can't do it anymore. But let me just introduce myself. Then I'll sit there, if you don't mind. Thank you very much for inviting me on this beautiful edifice. I came from outside and I said, what a nice building you have. I said, it's a very nice place. And to be among you is also thank you very much for giving me this opportunity. Another thing, you know, it's nice to come to learned people. People like us who are not learned, we learn something when we come here. It's remarkable. Thank you very much. The reason why I can't stand for a long time. I like to apologize. It's nice to stand up here. I put on my African attire to tell you we're in Africa. I'm tired of European clothes. I worked in Nigeria for a few years. It's a beautiful place. It's got its own dignity and culture, and I learned a lot of things. What you didn't add on, I went to Sterling University. I have a master's degree, and on top of that, because you people have a tendency to forget that we also go to school, I have also got other qualifications. I did engineering before I did flying, aeronautical engineering for that matter. So I've got a small background also, that matters quite a bit. But I don't know why you're wasting your time on symptoms. You're wasting our time here talking about symptoms of what happened yesterday. Where did it come from? We are fighting over symptoms. I don't like you, you are tall, you are short. Why are we wasting our time on this? What is the real problem? You are telling me to do a SWOT analysis on an election, and you're asking me to do a SWOT analysis on democracy of this country. Now, there we understand each other. But if you waste my time, and you're talking about one particular party, this is a political problem. We are having, across the board, our political class is indisciplined. Don't choose. Speak the truth and shame the devil. All of you are becoming you start creating the divide and rule. You know, the British ruled us for 70 years, and they introduced a concept called divide and rule. And you people have been sucked, and you're also dividing each other and ruling each other. Why don't you sit down and analyze the issue that is creating this problem and cure the issue instead of wasting time on little things that have happened? Somebody said we had 72 electoral areas of NRM, a very big thing. How many of those were bad? He didn't give me the statistics. Give me the statistics. There were 72,000. How many of those went bad? Is it 10%? Is it 20%? Give me facts. The people here are educated. They understand if you tell them exactly what is going on. And I know why you invited me. It's because I came out and said enough is enough. That's all. And I'm not against anybody. I just did that really to tell you, especially you, the young people, stop being sucked in. There's a man called Lee Kuan Yew. He ruled Singapore and moved that country from an island of 60 square miles and moved it into the first world. It's a rock. He built a state. So what you should be talking about here, what is the problem with our statehood? Statehood. Why is it from independence we have failed to stabilize this country as Ugandans? That's where the problem is. The problem is not what happened yesterday when somebody pinched somebody in class. No. We are talking about a nation. We're talking about the livelihood of your children. You are going to have children, some of you have started having them. You want those people to have a good country. Now, you come here, you waste my time, and you want to discuss who cheated somebody yesterday. And really, it's the same as saying, who is a pickpocket around the streets in town? Who is pocketing whose pocket? Really, don't waste my time. If you want us to talk, let's talk about the SWOT analysis. Let's find out where the problem is, and let's answer that problem. And the reason why you have invited me is because I told them when we say these things, some people intimidate to an extent of saying they can take your life. That's nonsense. This is our nation. If I'm going to be a martyr to make this country better, well and good. But I am going to be very polite and say, parties have no problem. Party is, the lawyers will tell you, go and register one in the Electoral Commission, and that's a party. It's the people in that party that make it have its culture and have its face. So let's go back. Do we have democracy in this country? Or are we pretending we want to have democracy? Because what I'm seeing here, we are toying with a word called democracy. We don't even understand it. Democracy is not one shoe size. It differs from country to country. When the Americans were writing their constitution, they went to France, they went to the Indians, they went everywhere, collected information, and came out with the American Constitution. And if you look at that American Constitution, initially, they went and stole the land of the natives there. And after stealing it, they called it they owned the land. And therefore, their Constitution basically says, you can't even vote unless if you're the landowner. So until today, the American president is elected with an electoral college. If you try to do it, they'll tell you you're not democratic. So we've been sucked in, haven't we? They have a different democracy. They want us to practice a different one. The word republic came from France after the French Revolution. The federal system, it is hinted, and you can look this one up in the Reader Digest. The Iroquois Empire, which was the native Indians in the New England area, Massachusetts area, who had something called the paramount chiefdoms, and that's where the federal system came from. Find out where these things come from. Study them. I watched a television interview which really amazed me. When somebody said, the Orientals, that is the Indians and the Chinese, everybody from there, they have understudied the West to an extent that they have taken it and used it to form states, which are now competing with the West. The Africans have been sucked in. We are being held on a leash. Now, instead of us sitting down saying, wait a minute, what sort of democracy can build our nation? We are here fighting over small things because I want to become a minister tomorrow. I want to go to be a member of parliament. That is nothing. The real problem, have we got a good foundation to build our nation, and then we use those nice practices they have to apply to us? Can we do that? The answer is no. Right from independence up to now, we have failed. And therefore, I'll go and sit there. My legs are beginning to itch. And my telephone is telling me that I should sit down also. Now, the reason why I brought these things up, I wanted you to realize that you're talking about something that is a little bit, can easily be controlled if we knew where the source was. And therefore, I'm going to go a little bit historical. When the Europeans came here, they went to the Buganda Kingdom, signed an agreement in 1901. And they said that they were having a relationship. The Europeans did not come here to babysit you, they came here for trade. And when they came here for trade, they formed a country called Uganda. Uganda is not an African country. Uganda is a consortium of African countries put together to form a nation. And when they ruled us for 70 years, they never brought that democracy. They actually came here, if you remember, and the first Legicor, they were only Europeans, and they were European civil servants. They were not even politicians. Then they added on Indians, then they added in Africans, and by 1958 we had something called the Legicor, which had been refused by Buganda and the kingdoms, saying, no, but we did not sign with you for that parliament. We have our own. The British did not take that kindly. And in 1950, 48-50, they wanted to bring a wind of change. They had got a few Africans trained and taken to Britain, took them to Oxford University and Cambridge, brought them back here, and told them to form parties. So we formed Uganda National Congress, and we formed DPE, basically on religious grounds. UNC being a Protestant, the other one, of course, being the British, they wanted one with theirs, and the other one being a Catholic. Both of them were led by Baganda. A man called Cohen, who was our governor, comes here and says, we want to have the East African Federation. Uganda, Kenya, and Tanganyika. The Baganda did not like that very much. Says, we are going to be swallowed in this big thing these people are creating. They have already created Uganda and they are swallowing us. So if they form East Africa, they will swallow us even worse. So what happens? A war starts between Governor Cohen and Buganda. What they do? Governor Cohen goes from here. They had sacked somebody from Makerere University, went to Nairobi, brought him back, put him in UNC. And what did they do? UNC separated between people outside Buganda and people from Buganda. So UNC became two. So the other one from outside Buganda became Uganda People's Congress. So you're talking about parties now. Look what I'm talking about. See where the parties started getting out of hand. In 1950. In 1962, 61, the Baganda rejected the elections in 1961. DP won. They get a self-government. Somebody was very clever, went somewhere and knelt down and formed something called Kabaka Yeka, and combined with the 21 delegates from Buganda, combined it with UPC and formed the government in 1962. Again, the same thing happening now. This party joining the other one, this one saying this one's want to remove the other one. Same thing. What I'm trying to explain to you is that this did not start today. This is something we've been pushing all along. After independence, the whole opposition, you're talking about multi-parties, democracy, multi-parties, all the people in the opposition crossed the floor and went to the side of the government. The leader of the opposition became the Minister of Internal Affairs. I'm now trying to show you that your parties, you're saying, oh, there's a man called Mao, he's in government. I'm talking about 1963, 64. A man called Bataringa became the Minister of Internal Affairs. So you people are totally, you're confused. Go back, look at where we are coming from. What is our problem? So we come all the way. 1980, we have a military government. Let me tell you something about, in 1960 we have a military mutiny in this country and people died. The people, it was an East African, it was King African Rifles, the 4th Battalion. You know what happened? The people in Tanzania suspended all the army people and they started a new one. The people in Kenya brought Europeans to run the army. For us, we promoted those who had gone on strike. And those people which we promoted took over government in 1970. Now, you can see where our problems started going wrong. Then you come into we had a military government. Then you come in 1980. Oh, instead of stopping and saying, man, what went wrong? How can we rebuild? We must start where we stopped. Quote, unquote. We must start where we started. They had an election, a funny election. By the election of 1980 and now, it's about the same. I don't know why you people are surprised. We are repeating it. In fact, if it was a record and you could play it, the same thing that happened then is happening now. So it's in our DNA. That's our behavior. Now, here comes. Immediately after election in 1980, the same parties that are supposed to be in a multi-party system cross the floor. Another party says, no, this is not right. Same thing. So you come, 1985, we come and get a new group of young people, like now, the ones who are making a lot of noise, old men, young men, old men, young men. They now go and remove a government. They get in power and say, we must start. They had very good ideas, by the way. You know, when they are starting, they have fantastic ideas. We must build a state, and the foundation must be laid out. These things you people are talking about, democracy, they come after you have built a state. Even in Britain, they never had democracy until they had united the country and built a state. I'm going to ask all of you a question, and you can write it down. Are we united in Uganda? Write it down and answer it yourself. Don't tell me. Are we united? How can you have a state that is not united and you expect to build good governance on top of that? I'm sorry I had to take you this far, but I wanted to bring you so that when we are talking, let's be at the same frequency. Here we come. They come with a beautiful idea. Where are our people? Why is it that we cannot go back to our culture and get to know our problems, combine them with these ideas that are coming from foreign countries, and form our own democracy? Let's start from our villages. Here, I grew up in Buganda, so I know a little bit more about Buganda than the other areas. In Buganda, they have clans. They also have very nice words. Baganda have something called Oluja. That is the home, the residence. Then they have Olunyiriri. Here we have a home, and then we have a community. Now, if the community, you went to ask them, without wasting time, go to the community, any community in Uganda, what is your problem? That community will tell you what their problems are. Are you with me? So by making that community talk and openly, you are now starting democracy. That is the democracy in our country. Not you guys who are putting on suits and living in Kololo. No. If you go to a village today, and I'm asking kind of when you go to your home in the village, find out how many families are in that village. Let me just be very casual and say there are 20 families. In those 20 families, there are families that are respected for their being good leaders. And that is how our local kings and chiefs used to get people to work with them. They would go to families in those areas and look for leaders who would work with them. If you today, without wasting time going to fight for administrators, I don't know what, and you went to that village and sincerely got those people without making them, without campaigning among them, they will tell you who the good leaders would be. And I want you to tell them, no, don't let us bring leaders. You tell us who the leaders are, which we have given to the parties and they have not used them. The parties have two functions. Give me a program and give me a good leader. How many of these parties have given us that? Please write it down. Even their manifestos, they are copied from Muzungu manifestos. By the way, I don't know if you people saw this on the internet. I saw the president of Botswana. He was walking in the guard of honors, and he was dressed in the modern way, like you young people dress. He had jeans with patches, and he looked very nice. I was very impressed. He's pushing the wall. You see, for me, I get impressed by saying somebody who does something differently. So, we now go, and I'm very sincere about this. You're wasting your time. Who cheated, who did what? What is the problem? Out of 72,000, my brother, I want you to go and look for statistics. How many of those got spoiled? 10%? 5%? The 5% or 10%, they go with that Baganda adage which says, Omuriwe mamba aberachi, omuna yononechika. Meaning, the person who eats the totem is the one who spoils the clan. And this is exactly what is happening here. We have a few people spoiling the whole political class. It's not too many. And we have a few also intimidating. And you know very well, in a competition, you know, even when you're going to do an exam, your heart beats a bit. Some people want to copy, others want to do this. In a competition of elections, same thing happens. If I see this young lady is too good for me, what I do, I put in money. If not, I intimidate her and her supporters. It is part of a weakness. So if we take a SWOT analysis, democracy, and I'm quickly finishing this, democracy is not one size. It differs from country to country. And you have to build it. What are the ingredients of democracy? Is making the majority of your people enjoy their nation in a better way. And it's not only for the rich or the poor. And what we are paying for is a word called corruption. And Lee Kuan Yew said, corruption doesn't remain on money only. Corruption kills institutions. Corruption kills our talent. Do you know how much talent has been pushed out of these elections, regardless of the parties you people keep talking about, and we lost those talents. Those are the talents who can lead this country. We've got them. We have superb people who can lead this country. Let me go to another point. For you who have not traveled quite a bit in Africa, Uganda is one of the most beautiful countries on this continent. Uganda has the most beautiful people on this continent. Uganda is one of the most highly educated compared to the other African countries. We have not given our people a chance. So Lee Kuan Yew said, corruption kills those. 1, the institution. 2, the talent. And 3, the same corruption creates brain drain. People, our cleverest people are in America, are in Britain. Did you know that we have Ugandans in NASA? Did you know that we have the best doctors in South Africa? Do you know that we have the best doctors in America? You know that we have the best doctors, even lawyers. The other day I met a young man and I was impressed. One of your learned friends. This is a young man. First degree, Makerere University. Second degree, Britain. Third degree, American, Harvard. Now, you say we don't have people? We have. Does it matter whether it is age? No. And people should stop telling you about age. They should talk about people who have got the talent to lead us. My favorite leader today in Africa, and I will say it with my heart, is a man called Ibrahim Traore. I think he's a fantastic leader. We need to support him. Because he's a mason. He's a mason who is building that country brick by brick. So we need to get together and build what you people want. These nice things you want, democracy, it's okay. But let us build the foundation. So, that said and done, I want to say this. What happened in, first of all, I am one of those who have always opposed the system used by NRM for the election. I think it is overambitious. It's like you being overambitious about having a national election using a party. It's unfortunate you can't even afford it. Number one. And number two, okay, it is done. So we give them the credit. But when it is done, you can see the flows. And number three, and which is extremely important, NRM, the majority, you said 72,000? So let's remove 10%. Would be what, about 7 or 8? Okay, let's make it 10. And it becomes 60,000. So if anything you get 60, 90%, you're doing very well. So to me, that is not the problem. The problem, even this 2% or 5%, how do we help them to understand that was unfortunate? And I want you to say to go again. We want good leaders. By pushing wrong leaders in the place, you spoil our nation. It doesn't matter who. And by the way, don't impress me I don't get impressed by age. I get impressed by action. Lee Kuan Yew had 3 words. Meritocracy. Meritocracy. Merit. Do you have a merit? Number 2. Are you pragmatic? Number 3. Are you honest? Do you have the discipline? Do you have what it takes to be respected? Do you have character? You people sitting around here pretending that they are leaders, you're running around with activism which is childish. Let us get the reality of the matter and let's get our country moving in the right direction, whether young, whether old, whether what. All Ugandans, and stop being sectarian. This business of age, business of religion, business of tribe, business, this is all wrong. Muzungu comes here, finds us with our tribal differences. Then he adds on religion. We even have religious wars in this country. After that, he brings parties. We've been having party wars. Now he's bringing something called human rights. And the NGOs who are working in them are all paid from the West. But Josenyo. But was it so wongo? They have washed our brain. I want us to copy those Orientals. They go and study their system. They pluck the good things out of their system, combine it with their system, and come out with their own democracy. India has got 1.48 billion people. They have copied their democracy. Pole pole, they are building it. It has not been perfect, but they have built it. When we were doing the constitution, by the way, I happen to have been there too. There was an argument whether we should have the parliamentary system of government or Westminster system, for that matter, or have the American system, where we have the presidential system. A lot of people wanted the presidential system. We should elect the president. We should elect the president. I say, fine. It doesn't matter what system, how do you use it? Now, the presidential system, in my sincere opinion, has got one problem. It's give the president too much powers. The parliamentary system gives the power to parliament. So it is up to you to sit down and see which one is going to do a better job. Now, how do we get the parliamentary system? The leader of government, we will be able to hold him there in parliament on account. Presidential system, he stands outside and gives you presidential orders. It's up to you. So let me end by saying this. What you are seeing there, those are symptoms in our political life because we don't have a good foundation of building the state. And because we don't have a good foundation, the weaknesses, if you took the SWOT analysis stands for strength. Where is our strength? Yeah? Where is our weakness? Where is the opportunity? And where are the threats? Let's look at our strength. The strength are the Ugandan 46 million people. We are strong. this is one country which has got agriculture, and we can look after ourselves regardless of these political group games your people are playing. That's our strength, starting from the village. Our weakness, we've been divided, and we fight each other for no reason at all. So we need a person who can unite us like Nyerere did in Tanzania. Nyerere had 102 tribes. He united them, of course at an expense of the economy, but he united them. And they respect each other. Now, one of the cement he used in Tanzania was the language, Swahili. Not all Tanzanians spoke Swahili when he took over. The people from Bukoba and the people from the mountain, Mount Kilimanjaro, did not even want to speak Swahili. But he managed to get them, took it in school, and today Tanzania has one language and they respect each other. So we need to unite our country. So my request here, and by the way, I'd like to thank you young people. You have started doing it quietly by intermarrying. Yes, no, don't take this very seriously. I was very impressed when some young people from the East marrying in Muganda marrying a Northerner. This is good. This is integration, natural. It makes me proud because I'm of mixed race, you see. Yes, I'm the chairman of the mixed race. So the whole point is that you must learn to be what you are. We should like each other. I think it's the new commandments in this John, which says, love each other the way I have loved you. And that's Jesus. Love each other the way I have loved you. We become one. What's all this nonsense? What are we fighting for? So after that is finished, I would like to thank you very much for having invited me. And I wanted to give you this, that what happened here is a passing fancy. We have fallen down. Baganda have a saying, Enyane ekorachi? Ekorabichi? Hamanya Uganda yugiri, murikuchi. Enyane vera ekorachi? Ekorabichi? Bigo. So, Uganda is a nyana which is growing. It stands up and falls down. It stands up and falls down. If mistakes have been made, let us correct them. But it must be the leadership to correct them. If the leader cannot correct his own mistake, then we're in trouble. I want to say, I am sorry, because I have the integrity to say so. We make mistakes. And some of you who have just got married, you're going to make a lot of mistakes. So you better learn how to say sorry to each other very quickly. And that's the best example of telling you sorry in a relationship. Sorry in a national relationship is the same. We need to like each other. And leadership means the majority of the country are enjoying the nation. That is leadership. Not this democracy of the British and the Americans. No, our people enjoying their nation. That is what I want to hear. I am tired of this Muzungu things that you people quote for us. And please, today, when you live here, when you go home and you put your head in cold water, remove the washing these people have done to us. Decolonize your mind. Yeah, that's a better word. Decolonize your mind, you know. Become yourself. And look for good leaders. And by the way, let me give you this. If you really woke up in the morning and you started looking among our people, leaders are not easy to come by. Good leaders. They are there in suits and whatnot, but are they the leaders? They are there making noise, but are they the leaders? So, I wish you, all of you, a very nice afternoon, and I would like to thank you very much. And thank you for having invited me to talk to a gallant group like yourselves. And ladies and gentlemen, look after yourself. Make this country a better place. Everywhere you are part of leadership. By the way, had we followed the rules, all Ugandans would sit in a parliament, but we are 46 million. We don't have enough space. So we say, let one person represent so many. Basically, what do we do when you go to elect a member of parliament? He's got about 4 functions. 1, a legislator. 2, he passes a budget. 3, oversight. 4, he's a bridge between him and the constituency. Full stop. can this person you're electing have those ability? Good afternoon.
Dr.
Edward Babu. No, I'm not a doctor.
Hey, because you gave us so many titles: engineer, captain, honorable, Muzei. Thank you so much. Another round of applause for honorable. Very, very, very radical. Behind you is the tenets of the Uganda Law Society Radical New Bar. Decolonization, democratization, demilitarization, and digital transformation. Today we are making you a student of digital transformation, like you said, but we have become students of your wisdom. Thank you so much for decolonizing our minds. You are just what we need. If you have one question, I can take it and then I go. Yes, we would like to release the honorable. We normally have a question and answer after the discussion.
I'm sorry, I have a very big group waiting for me.
Yes.
But I had to accept because the lady who called me, she was so polite.
Miss Afra Apio, the head of rule of law.
Very, very good.
Thank you so much.
Should add order also.
Thank you so much. We shall take exception. It normally happens after, but we can use this opportunity as you've requested, and would like to, yes. Thank you for using the word sorry. Like you said, it always melts the heart. Thank you so much. Ladies and gentlemen, can we just take a question or two for honorable so that, yes, please, so that he can excuse us. Let's be brief, please, so that we can move to the next agenda item. Thank you.
Yes, hello. Again, it's me, the citizen for whom they are aspiring to represent. Captain, do you remember where you were on 10th October 2003? Let me remind you, Njak Wanyaneza pocket money, you saw in a group of prefects at a school in Naguru. You were part of the delegation together with the late Honorable Kidu Makubia. And you now remember, and you were our patron for that prefect's council. You told us very well that this corruption is a vice. We sang a song, corruption, corruption, I think you remember on the stage. The question that I would like to put to you, corruption is now deeply, as you've said, institutionalized. It's in our DNA, it's in our culture. What radical reform would you propose for us to root it out once and for all in this country? Because, as I say here every Thursday, the Ugandan judiciary is where justice goes to die. Human Rights Commission is where human rights go to die. Electoral commissions, whether for NRM or the national, is where elections go to die. And these things happen, they are done by lawyers. So the Uganda Law Society, yes, is also where the law goes to die. You've seen we are getting rid of LDC, Law Development Center, because it's where law development goes to die. So what radical reform would you have really to save us from this vice called corruption? Thank you so much, Honorable.
Thank you so much. Agaba Festus is asking, how do you think the NRM should handle disputes and complaints arising from the primaries? Of course, we have left that topic, but we are going to give it a broader perspective. And what mechanisms can be put in place to ensure accountability? Almost the same thing you've been lecturing about. Agaba Festus. Then Jackie Munduru is asking, what policies or development initiatives do you plan? Of course, now the question will be, what policies or development initiatives do you plan to prioritize if elected, and how do you intend to serve your constituents? Yeah, you're welcome.
These are very simple questions, really. The first one, corruption. There's 2 states or 4 that have done something very interesting. In China, Singapore, Malaysia, and all these places, you do not play around with the drugs. And the kind of punitive punishments they have introduced, corruption and drugs have virtually stopped. So if you want to pluck this one out, you've got to become extremely punitive. These laws of yours, the good human rights, you forget it. Here you've got to become hard. And let me tell you, some of you are young people, you are going to have children, but imagine people taking drugs and selling it to them in primary schools. Now that is the worst kind of corruption you can have. These people should be punished very, very bad. So you need people with the merit, leaders who are going to change this. And among those leaders, some of them, who bring these drugs in the country. So when you're talking about plucking out corruption, you need a few leaders with merit who are going to make sure they are pragmatic and they are going to change this. By the way, one man can change the whole thing. You don't need even the Law Society. The Law Society will actually clap for him when all those things are gone. And then we go back to norm. But that particular one, don't even talk about human rights. Because it's affecting the heart of a country. This is what some people have said about corruption. And corruption is corruption undermines justice and benefits only those people in power and wealth. It leads to inequality, lost opportunities, and brain drain. Government must protect the vulnerables and create laws that promote balance and fairness. A just society relies on conscious courage and shared commitments and fairness. This is extremely important that you understand this. But I've had people say all sorts of small things. No. Here you don't play. This is very serious. It is affecting everybody. So that is, we need a good leadership with a merit that is going to be pragmatic about corruption. NRM primaries and the mechanism, what sort of mechanism you can put in? It's very, very simple. Again, we need people in the leadership. She was talking about the leadership of the party. Yes. If you have got a good leadership that is ferocious, and then I think they should review the system of their election, the primary elections. I think they should look at it and see where are the weaknesses and how they can, remove them. And at the same time, get the people who have got all this money, because I've been hearing people splashing money. Where are they getting from? That's where corruption comes in again. Yes. So you need leadership that is going to be pragmatic and fight these guys extremely. What are the policies that you need for this country? The policies in this country is to make the majority of the people of this country to be part and parcel of a nation. Education, health, infrastructure, all these, putting them together as part of the policies to make sure that they reach everybody. And we build. And we help the vulnerable, the weak. Really, if I was the one, I would not allow our people to beg on those street lights. I would not allow them. Government would have a sanctuary to help our people. You help the weak. That is the idea of a government. The government gets from the rich and helps the poor. That's it. There's no more. The economy is designed to help the rich, to be rich, but also to pull the poor. I'm not against the rich, but the poor must be helped. I will never. And then we help. It really hurts me. Our cleverest young people failing to go to university because they cannot afford it. This government would be looking for our cleverest young people and making sure they have a special program for them to go and educate. Because those are the talents we need to develop this country. To tell me that an intern will not get money, a doctor. All our what are these clinics, the ones we have in the village, what are they called, this dispensary? Health Center 4, Health Center 3. All those interns can go to those. What are we doing with them, refusing to use them? An intern is a qualified doctor, by the way. So that is where my strength would be. I would go and get our people and help the weak to be better. And that is what these are the policies I would like to see. And our economy would be tailored around these people and at the same time making money. You say we have gold, we have all those. Get that money, have a state fund which can now lend money to the government to be able to carry out all those policies that you've decided. And frankly speaking, we can do it. And we have people who have got the ability to do it, if we give them a chance. I'd like to thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Very, very mind-provoking. Thank you so much for your wisdom. We would like to excuse you. We normally take a group picture.
Yeah, one point about military. I want your radical part. There's no nation or state can be without a military.
Yes, please.
You've got to make them disciplined. But to demilitarize them is wrong.
Oh.
There is no state in the world, including Singapore, which is the most modern. They have a military. The military keeps you protected. The only thing you should say, they should not be misused. Thank you very much.
Exactly the point. To demilitarize is to...
No, demilitarize is different.
To keep the military out of politics, out of leadership.
No. Demilitarizing means removing the military. Let us say we need the military, but they should be disciplined and they should not be misused.
Yes, Honorable.
That's all.
We receive.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Once again, thank you so much, Honorable. You have been very educative. You were once Minister for State for Education, so you're still rolling within the same line of blessing. Thank you so much. We shall want to excuse you like you requested. There's a group picture that we wanted to request you to have with us. We're using this background because the Uganda Law Society is bringing the nation back on track. Thank you so much. I would request the guests to come and just take this picture together. Thank you so much. Then we can excuse. Just here, please.
She have an opportunity to sit against exactly a beautiful lady. These people think old men cannot see. We see.
Adam, yes, this one. Adam, no, it's okay.
Thank you. Yes. My youngest is a lawyer. My youngest daughter, my youngest. But she hasn't been there. She studied in Kenya. She decided she should come. I don't know if she wants to do this. You want to take more? Okay, go ahead. You want to take some more? So, come back. We want gender here. But gender is only for women. I don't want to have a men's... Thank you.
I think that is it for now.
Thank you very much.
Honorable, thank you so much for your time. May the Lord bless you. May He heal you. May He continue to encourage you. May He continue to be good to you. Thank you so much for the time. We're so blessed.
And by the way, this crowd, you know, this man, when you say that he went to the West, he went to Oxford University, he's a big old man. He said, everything you learn in the West is good, except the remaining Chinese. Everything you learn, you're a lawyer, you're still an African.
Thank you so much, Africanacity Redefined. Ladies and gentlemen, we have had to take exception. We would like to request you to bear with us. The Honorable, in the beginning program, was supposed to speak after one of our guests, and because, like you're all aware, we took exception, we would like to straight away invite Mr. Otim, who is going to take us through briefly also his account. As we were saying, the topic was NRM and the primaries and the decline of democracy. Kindly let's receive Mr. Otim to take us through, then we can go to the other agenda item of the next topic. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Well, I think it's really good afternoon. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. And this is where there is no democracy. When rules are changed in the middle, you know we are still far off. But nonetheless, we need to respect our elders. When they say they have urgent things to do, it is very important that we consider them. They are aged enough, they have grandparents, grandchildren to take care of. So that's that. I'm Otim Bernard. I made my introduction very simple for these people of law society, the radical Nuba, because I knew nobody can introduce me better than myself. So it's an opportunity for me to introduce myself. I come from a very little village. Those of you who studied some years back, they used to say there's a village where there's no any other village. So that's where I come from. It's called Okoragwe, which is found in Teboke Sub-County, Maruzi North, in Apache District. And in Apache, we say we are the only people from USA, United States of Apache. So I am here to share my experience. Besides that introduction, I am a lawyer by training, and so I don't think I'm in the wrong place. Secondly, I am one of the unique persons who have gone through the just concluded NRM primary elections. Not until 9th of May, I have been a serving police officer at the rank of a sergeant. Now, those of you who do not understand the police ranks, when you see a police officer moving with something on the right with the 3 V's, those small people, I was one of them. And so I'm very proud of that background, and I can't go without mentioning, because in the general rule, I happen to be an exception. Going forward, it's very important that I thank the Radical Nuba, the Uganda Law Society, for giving me this wonderful opportunity of sharing a stage with a distinguished statesman, an elder, a seasoned leader, Captain Francis Babu, and my sister, who comes all the way from Kaliro, and our brother, who is from the Ministry of Gender, Labor and Social Development, but most importantly, with all of you. Thank you, Uganda Law Society. The topic of today is much intriguing, especially if you're speaking after Captain Francis Babu, who just decided to turn this into a lecture. Now I wonder what else I'll have to say. Now, nonetheless, if you are trained to be a fighter, you must fight in all circumstances. It's also an opportunity that it's no longer the elders who should close such sessions. It's the young people. So the young people in this house, you should clap for yourselves. Today is your day. The question was, what was my experience during the NRM primary election? My sister here gives us what we would call sad. But in those wonderful accounts that you gave us, there's nothing sad in them. They're just learning opportunities. Well, everybody else is complaining. Oh, the primaries were rigged. Oh, there was a lot of money. Oh, the grounds were not leveled. But for how long will this ground be leveled? This has been the cry year in, year out. The ground is not leveled. For how long? Who will level the ground? If you and I don't come out and test this ground whether it is leveled or not. And that's why I started by introducing myself as being a unique person who took part in this election. There has been question of money. Everybody else said everybody dished money. For you to win an election under the NRM system, you must have money. Have you asked yourself, now that I've introduced myself to you as having been a sergeant of Uganda Police Force, who was earning 650,000 per month? Are you not thinking that I was a thief maybe? The answer is no. And so, for me, my message here is not to castigate the bad side of the story. My message here is to bring to the young people in this house, to the young people who are following us from wherever you are, that there is hope. You must be part of the few who should get their way in a system that everybody else seems to say is not working. So my experience, when I decided to join politics, that was way back in 2016, and every other election cycle that would reach, I would feel I'm not ready. And that time I was also still fairly young, much as now I'm much older. And so 2016 came, I felt I didn't have the money. I was not ready. 2021 came, I didn't have the money. I was not ready. But after 2021, I said, whether there's money or not, I'm going for politics. One of the key qualities of a leader that Captain Francis Babu just told us here is being pragmatic. Pragmatism is all you need. You must take certain decisions that everybody else will call you mad. In fact, as I announced my candidacy for NRM flag bearer, many people called me mad because they were seeing no sense in what I was saying. And that is pragmatism. I was very pragmatic in my approach in the election. So what was the experience? I want to tell you one sad experience, which to me was very good, that we were only two in the race. And I was tussling out with a very rich person, somebody who's way older than me, who has also been in politics for quite some time. And we had joint campaigns, as you're aware, and all this person would do is say, this guy has just been a sergeant in police, he's poor, he has nothing. And mine would be to tell him, yes, I am poor, majority of Ugandans are poor, now we the poor people have decided to join hands. And the good news is, the poor people joined hands and we beat the rich people. That was my approach, and that was my experience. The next question that I think I'm supposed to answer were the lessons learned. And this is the most important thing to any of us and to all of us. So what were the lessons? To the young people out there, and especially to those who are in the lower ladders of our society, those who are underlooked, it's unfortunate our elder has gone. He has been a minister for quite some time. You people have heard of a story where a minister was underlooking a certain person who was contending with him. I was saying, this is supposed to be my bodyguard, but he's here contending with me. So what's my lesson? My lesson is, be determined at what you want to do, and you'll do it, and I have done it. The second lesson was, systems, however corrupted they may look, as people want to paint the NRM system, there is always a way for those who are organized. And so, it took me 3 years of mobilizing for me to have this win without too much money. Now, the most important and the last of all is, what are the suggestions? As part of my introduction, I said I'm a lawyer, which is also true. And a lawyer cannot speak without speaking the law. After all, I am aspiring to go and make the law. So what are the suggestions? Section 3, subsection D, I think D to E of Uganda Law Society Act gives the Uganda Law Society mandate. One of those mandates is to protect and assist the public in Uganda, all of Uganda, in all matters that touches the law, that are incidental to the law. And it is no doubt that any election cycle, whether it is for NRM or for any other person, it touches the law and is incidental to the law. So, the second other mandate that I should look at is to assist the government in matters affecting legislation and and practice of law in Uganda. And so, the first two speakers have been on the bad, everything is bad, everything is bad. But what is the hope? Where is the way forward? So, my suggestion is the Uganda Law Society, through the radical new bar, should up their game. There must be a law against monetization or commercialization of politics in Uganda. This is the root cause of all the cries Ugandans have. If you want to say we do have bad leaders, it's because politics, leadership is for sale, and the richest takes it all. If you want to talk about electoral violence, we have had cars burned, people killed in some parts of the country because of the NRM primary election and any other election. It's because there was commercialization of politics. If you want to talk of corruption in this country, you cannot do away with corruption without doing away with the commercialization of politics. After all, those who have an opportunity to dish their hands into the coffers will need political protection. And the only way they can get it is by going through elective politics, and it's easy for them because they buy their way out. As I conclude, Captain Francis Babu, who is our elder in this discussion today, points to a rather bad picture of this country. But as a young man who has been around this country, now reaching 40 years, I want to point a better picture for this country. We cannot say everything is wrong in this country. At least we can count approximately 39 or 40 years of political stability. Is that bad? If there's nothing else you can talk about, if we have not had coups in all this time, that means we have progressed. If the only known sergeant before me was Sergeant Doho, now I am Sergeant Otim, who has tried to beat the odds. If at this time, a sergeant of police who was earning simply 600,000 can make his way, and possibly by then to Parliament, I'll invite all of you to join me after January for the celebration. Then we cannot say everything is wrong. The only message to the young people and to everyone else who feel they are segregated against, who feel they have been left behind, is find your way, make up your mind, start the journey. This country is for all of us. It will remain here for all of us. It doesn't matter whether you are NUP, you are NRM, or whatever you call yourself. The good news is the old man with the heart is still around. May God bless you. I'm Otim Bernard from Baruzi North.
Wow, thank you. Let's give him a round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. We want to thank you, Sergeant, for that very brief but very, very provoking story. Speaking to the youth, speaking to the young people, has also spoken to us indeed. Thank you for fighting and being pragmatic. With the old man, like you said, we bent a little of the rules because we've explained the reason. And thank you so much for respecting that, because the Ugandan Law Society is one for equality. We have to take note of such people and take care of them. Thank you so much once again. You have shared so much in a very short time. Thank you for your being pragmatic. We were picking up from what he had said earlier on. Meritocracy, pragmatism, and honesty. You've been honest in your words. Thank you and congratulations upon the victory. Of course, it's not over until it's over. One other political party was saying in Parliament, should we congratulate you now or we shall meet in the corner? It's a journey. Because the corner is in January, there are some other parties that you're going to be running against. We wish you all the best in everything that you go on for. Ladies and gentlemen, we want to thank you for being with us up to now. We are still on track. we have one more topic to go discussing. We'd like to thank those that are online for bearing with us, those that are physically present. Thank you so much. And we shall, in interest of time, honor the representative of the Ministry of Gender, Labor and Social Development, allow him to present his case in representation of the ministry, and then take questions and answers after this. I hope it is well with us. And the reason we are talking about that is because one of us, if not all of us in this room, have experienced a relative, a friend, an in-law, or a loved one that has sought employment or greener pastures, as they call it, out of this country. That is what we are calling labor externalization. And over time, the situation is causing a lot of topical discussions. We're having quite a number of scenarios of individuals or our relatives, friends, in-laws, sisters, brothers going out of the country because, of course, of the scarcity of jobs, and yet the levels of education have gone a little higher given the political stability that has already been alluded to. We have managed to roll from nursery to secondary to university to be able to afford to get a job. However, there's been instances in which, as an option, our fellow citizens have opted out, like was said, a very good doctor in America, a very good engineer in the UK, and yet his or her first degree was in Uganda. So we are, together with the Ministry of Gender, Labor and Social Development, here to demystify the aspect of labor externalization, which has also come forth with certain challenges, including human trafficking, where we send people out there and we're not certain of the people whom they have gone to. Whereas everything could be done well here, we would like to delve into this topic and try to see how to help each other with this issue. Today with us, we have a very distinguished speaker who is currently the Assistant Commissioner for Employment Services in the Ministry of Gender, Labor and Social Development, who is here in the representation of the Permanent Secretary of the Ministry, who we extended an invitation to come and delve into this topic, and in order for us to appreciate how we can help each other, like has already been said about the mandate of the Uganda Law Society to help access to justice, and also see how we can help each other in regard to the youth or those that have not been able to get employment in Uganda. And to do that, we are going to welcome Mr. Milton Turiasima, who we shall eventually listen to and hear from. Thank you so much. You're most welcome, sir.
Yeah, thank you for those introductions. I think I don't need now to say anymore. Milton Turiasima is my name, Assistant Commissioner, Employment Services. And the topic is externalization of labor, which you can call labor migration, and then trafficking in persons. I don't know if you invited any person from the office of prevention of trafficking in persons. And, okay. Yeah, because you see there is a very thin line between externalization of labor and trafficking in persons. You can say it is one side of the coin. But basically, if to define trafficking in persons, you need 3 elements. One is the act, 2 is the means, and 3 is the purpose. When I go to the act is the recruitment, transportation, harboring, doing all those. Those are the acts. And then the means. Was it by coercion? Was it by deceit? Or by force? And things like that. So because you are using your power now to recruit a person and transfer that person to the destination for eventual purpose of exploitation. And exploitation has also forms. It can be labor exploitation, can be prostitution, it can be body harvest, and all those. So once you have all those elements, then you can say the person was trafficked. If one is missing, then it does not go to trafficking in persons. So when we go to labor externalization is the other way, organized way of moving Ugandans from Uganda to other countries. And this is a government program which was started in 2005 and it is regulated by the employment, bracket, recruitment of Ugandan migrant workers, close brackets, regulations of 2021 were amended, the ones of 2005. So basically, that's where we drive all that is done in this area. And it is in the hands of the private sector. We license recruitment agencies, and they have a rigorous process they go through to get the licenses, and they are monitored. And on top of that, by the one of the requirement is that they submit a bank guarantee of 100 million. And the purpose of that is to cater for any eventuality that comes with the recruitment and placement. So, having said that, there are push factors and pull factors that make Ugandan leave Uganda. And ladies and gentlemen, labor migration is here with us and will ever be here. And nobody, or there is no force that can stop labor migration. Whether you build walls of which sickness, human beings, being human, they will devise means and go across that, provided the situation where they are is not conducive, and outside there they can see the light at the end of the tunnel. When we look at our population is 45.9 as by the census report. If you look at the unemployment rate, 12%. And if you look at the youth, the unemployment rate is around 17. But those are still, you can say those are still nice figures. But there is something to worry about. It's what we call not in education, not in employment, and not in training. What we shorten as the need. And the needs, out of the youth population, 50% is under that. So where are they? So as a country, we need really to work very hard to make sure that our population or our labor force is fully utilized. The The pull factors, as I have indicated, are the high wages in those countries, the good welfare systems, the positive labor migration policies, and the availability of employment opportunities. I have mentioned the unemployment and all that. So if there is unemployment here and in Kenya there's a shortage of manpower, then labor will find its level to move where it is demanded. And that is the purpose of labor externalization. How has this externalization performed? I informed you that it started in 2005, and its main objective was to create a safe, orderly, and regular and formal pathways for Ugandans to move and seek employment abroad. The second one was to establish a short-term window for addressing the unemployment challenge in the country. I recall when His Excellency the President was launching, he mentioned that it is a short term, and it was basing on the fact that employment at home is the priority. Employment, and that's why you see government is struggling all these programs. Talk about the Youth Livelihood Program, the Uganda Women Entrepreneurship Program, now the PDM. All these are aimed at creating employment opportunities, and especially for the youth. And therefore, the government looks at jobs at home as the number one priority, and this, by doing this, then we will have stopped those so many people who would be going out, and then it is left that migration should be by choice, but not made out of desperation. So if we can do that, then we can make migration safe, orderly, and regular. We have licensed the cumulative, the number we have now of licensed companies are 258 as of now. And between 2016 and June 2025, the number of people who have gone through the program is around 300,000. And these people earn an average, a minimum of 1 million Uganda shillings. So, and these workers are part of the bigger group of what we call the diaspora, and they bring in what we call remittances. And as of now, I think the remittances stand at 1.4 billion US dollars. So this number is part of that. They assist, and those are the benefits of these people going. They assist their people who are left here with money for upkeep, that is paying medical bills, and education, that is fees and all that. But on top of that also, these people acquire skills wherever they are, and therefore they become changed people, the new ways of working, the practical skills, and all that. And if we can only work on the few things which are not going on well, then this can be a safe way for people to get jobs outside. Not only that, this program contributes to the non-tax revenue for the government, and between 2021 and June 2024, the program brought in 29.6 billion as non-tax revenue. So, having elaborated all that, what are the challenges that face externalization of labor? One, the traffickers. The traffickers are those people who are not authorized, but they end up also engaging into the business. And this is what we call trafficking in persons. So that is our number one challenge, because they deploy workers into unknown destinations and hostile working conditions through false presentation. Two, the funding for the program has not been for scamming, and therefore we find things which can't be done. You want to go and monitor migrant workers, but then you find there are no funds. Three, the monitoring of these migrant workers. The embassies and the Ministry of Gender, Labor and Social Development have a role in that. And then you find the embassies are also lacking funds, the ministry is also lacking funds, and this can't be effectively managed. The other difficulty, there was a challenge of tracing these people who normally need consular services out there, because in social media you find so many messages, this wants help, this wants help, and when you look through the messages, sometimes you can't trace how the person went and where the person, so it becomes a challenge. Those who go through the companies have an advantage, because the moment we know we have a system that follows all these migrant workers, before they leave, they sign the contract, the employer is known, the location is known, the recruitment company is known, and the receiving recruitment agency in the other country is also known. And even the embassy is in the know. So if anything happens to such a person, then it is easy to trace the person and then be assisted with consular services. Then we also have now a challenge of workers who have started absconding from their contracts. They abscond from work. At the enticement of those who are already in a regular situation, they invite those who are already in contract that come. They are paying you 1 million. If you come this side, they will be paying you 2 million or 1.5. But they don't tell them the risks they will face. And this has been a big challenge. Once you have absconded, once you have left the contract, then now you become a liability to the nation, and you are basically, by the way, on your own. Because the company which took you is no longer liable. The company which received you is no longer liable. The employer is not liable. And now, even the country where you are working is not responsible. Now it becomes a problem of Uganda. So those are the biggest challenges we normally face. You get a person, runs away, you talk to the parents, they want a ticket of say 50, and normally there are always fines and what. You ask a family, pay 15 million, that is what is required. And it becomes worse if that person dies from there. So the cost of repatriation becomes very expensive, and this will fall basically on the family, and then you find the whole thing is in a mess. So as we have said, what have we tried to do amongst all these that we are doing? One, we have concluded some bilateral labor agreements with countries like Saudi Arabia, United Arab Emirates, Qatar, and Jordan. We have also established joint technical committees to oversee the implementations of these bilateral labor agreements. The ministry has almost finalizing the setting up of a 24-hour migrant workers complaint help desk. So if a person is in distress, the help desk, which is the best here, will be working on 24 hours, and it's monitored, and then the migrant worker can be helped within that specific time. We have also deployed a labor attaché in Saudi Arabia. We are supposed to deploy in the United Arab Emirates and the Qatar if funds become available. And we have also put it in place that domestic workers are only cleared to countries where we have bilateral labor agreements. It has been so common that you hear a person is in Oman, is in the United Arab Emirates. We haven't opened up for domestic workers, but you find that there are so many who end up doing all kinds of jobs after being trafficked from Uganda. We have also put in place a pre-departure orientation and training, and moved it from 7 days to 14 days so that they can get quick information about where they are going, how they should conduct themselves, if there is any problem, what they should do, and all that kind of arrangement, so that the person can really go, settle in, and work for the time of the contract and come back. As I also mentioned, we have the external employment management information system. And this one monitors from the recruitment, from pre-departure, from transit, and until the person is working there. And this system follows them up by the help of the embassies to see that whoever has gone through the system is really provided with all the services that can be. We have also included, because we have noticed that very many people don't know about this program and how to, if I want to go out, and that's why I've mentioned 300,000 people have passed through this. But if you go outside there, you will be shocked. We were recently in the United Arab Emirates. According to our system, we have around 25 who had passed through the system. When the president was there and meeting Ugandans, the figure that was given was around 100,000 Ugandans. So you can see a very small fraction has gone formally. The rest found their way to UAE. The same applies to Saudi Arabia, Qatar, and all those countries. So the community engagements have been to take the information to communities so that they can get the information. If they want to go out, what should they do? If you want to check, because the system is open to any person, you can check and see the companies which are licensed, can choose the jobs which are available, and therefore there should be no room that you can be trafficked when all these things are in place. So basically, those are things that pertain to externalization of labor. And in my concluding remarks is, as we sit in this room and those who are attending, we all have a role to play. There is no single institution that can claim monopoly of labor migration or externalization of labor. We don't work alone. We work with other institutions, and all of you are supposed to be part of this. If you have this information, and if you can take this information to your communities, to where you stay, then you have that role. And what we need to do is that we should strengthen our collaboration. I thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Essie, Assistant Commissioner. We are very grateful for that breakdown. We, of course, have a lot to wonder and learn from this activity, because very many of the citizens in the country are affected or have at least something to do with labor externalization and the issues that you've mentioned. We thank you as the ministry, of course, in representation of the government, for the work that you're doing. And as you said, the launch was in 2005, so it's still work in progress. There is certain feelings from the media, from the people, the citizens, that there is still a lot of work to do. There is a tweet from one of our members, or one of our members, Kakwenza Rachivasaija, who tweets about a certain rather sad scenario. It's quite long. I'll just try to read it. Thank you for joining us, Mr. Kakwenza. We appreciate your presence on this platform. It reads, she was exported to Saudi Arabia as a domestic worker. In less than 2 years, she was returned with mental illness and with no material possessions, not even her travel and identity documents. How she traveled from Saudi Arabia to Entebbe Airport and to Machindia Police is a mystery. Imagine thinking your child is in Saudi Arabia and you receive a phone call to pick her up from Machindia Police. 2 days later, she committed suicide at the tender age of 26. You would think it's a movie, but it is real agony for her father, Simon Opio, and mother, Nora Mukebezi. For that is what happened to their daughter, Josephine Agadi. Agadi and all our girls being exported and returned to us damaged beyond repair and justice. This is one of the sad stories about what is happening to not just girls, of course, but the girls are the vulnerable ones. We also have boys and gentlemen who have sad stories, and this question lingers much more than it lingers about the monies that are being made, the migrant laborers that are, sending money back to help their families, some, of course, to develop themselves. And this is going to be the beginning of the question and answer session that we are going to have for a very short time. And as we wind up the day, before which we shall have a very brief session from the Department of Members Affairs to remind us and highlight to us, the members and the general public, about the upcoming Tech Fest. So we are here to receive questions for the whole panel. It's going to be mixed up between the first topic and the second topic. We have a question, yes, from Opio Sunday. How would your office help a young girl trace the father of her child who is in Saudi Arabia and is seeking maintenance for her child? AC, I believe this is for you. How would your office help a young girl trace the father of her child who is in Saudi Arabia and is seeking maintenance for her child? Of course, now this is mixed up, both legal and social. The father, whoever it is, left the country, left a lady with an offspring, and has abandoned the family. So we're wondering, how can such a person be helped? Thank you. Any questions that are in-house, please feel free. Let us receive questions. Yes, Shamil?
As always, it's me, the citizen, for whom they are all accountable for. Without me, the citizen, I think they have no jobs. By citizen, I mean, of course, all the citizens in Uganda. And as they said, we cannot take all the 45 million Ugandans to Parliament. The same way we cannot bring all the 45 million citizens here. So I will have to do on behalf of the citizen. I have here a question for the politicians and one for our senior elder, Mr. Milson. I'll start with Mr. Milton. Yes, thank you for giving us the regulatory framework. I know that. But the rules that you talk about, the 2021 rules, of course, have so many issues. For example, they purport to give the ministry jurisdiction in the foreign countries, in Saudi Arabia, in UAE. This has created some tensions as well, because you're saying people of Uganda should go and supervise those people. Then secondly, the rules were amended in 2011 to bring a new provision which restricts owning of labor externalization companies to only Ugandans. So I'm sure you are very much aware that Tanzania, I think a week or two ago, passed a similar regulation now, restricting the small businesses to only Tanzanians. Now, we have our East African Common Market Protocol and our Customs Management Act. These laws basically create an East African community as one country. If I am a Ugandan, I should be treated the same as I am in Tanzania, in Kenya, in Rwanda, I don't know if DRC is now a member of the East African community, but basically all those. So how is the Ministry of Gender going to harmonize their position in these regulations vis-a-vis the Uganda Investment Authority Act and these other laws? Because by restricting your other fellow East Africans, or maybe people from other countries, these regulations seem to violate other provisions, and now you're creating backlash from the other countries who are going to do the same, defeating the spirit of our East Africanness and our Pan-Africanism. Then for my politicians here, how are you today, our dear honorables, the future MPs? We hope to see you in Parliament soon. You have to fight for your vote. As you've seen in the primaries, which were mad with violence, you said you had issues of my agents were torn, my agents were kidnapped, my agents this and this and that. Mr. Bernard, I believe you've been before the NRM tribunal and you have to present evidence. And I'm sure when the general elections are done, evidence will have to be presented in courts of law. We expect petitions. And the judiciary, where justice goes to die, will be listening to these petitions. Government is going to switch off the internet. Last time they put off the internet, which is a critical tool for you to keep up with your agents at the various polling stations. As our Honorable Naigaga has said, they left the election to you people, to monitor, to supervise, to do everything. So what measures are you, as the politicians, going to put in to be able to guard your vote, considering that there's a likelihood that the internet is going to be switched off through that period? So you collecting electronic evidence, digital transformation of the radical Nuba might be a challenge for you. So what measures are you going to put in case internet is switched on, you'll not be able to record and video record things that are happening in real time. You may not even be able to communicate with the national election officials at the sub-county registries who are in charge of monitoring these elections. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Essie, there's a question for you once again from Barbara Esayet. How does the ministry ensure that licensed labor recruitment agencies operate within the set guidelines and regulations? How does the ministry ensure that licensed labor recruitment agencies operate within the set guidelines and regulations? Yes, at least we have that for now. Could we please, is it okay for you to take those first, the microphone, before you can be activated? Ladies and gentlemen, we are welcoming questions. Please feel free to send your question or ask from within as we take these ones.
Yeah, thank you very much. And I want to, this means people were listening, and that should be the purpose of this engagement. Yeah, first of all, I want to say it was unfortunate for Josephine. I think this is something we would need to know, because if the Josephine had traveled through a licensed company, then there is no way she would just come and be taken to Makinde police or what. But I think if there is more information, I can follow this up. But it is unfortunate if she was just picked from Saudi Arabia, then put on a plane, and straight away came to Uganda and end up in such a situation. The second one was on a child looking for a father. By the way, this can be a two-way. There are those girls who are going to work in Saudi Arabia. They meet this Bangladesh or what, and they produce, and then those people disappear. But if the father left a child here, then and went through a licensed company, then we have all that documents. All the documents we have, we can assist this person, trace where the person is. If the mother is aware that she went through a recruitment company, then we can assist the lady to really get because whatever we do, it is to the best interest of the child. Then on regulations, having directors being honorary Ugandans, we had, if you look at the one of 2005, it was open-ended. And then any person would come and register a company and start doing the recruitment and placement of Ugandans abroad. But then, what we faced, it was big. The foreigners would get money from people and then disappear, go back. So we faced that, we couldn't trace them, we couldn't do what, and that's why we came in with this limiting one, that at least directors should be Ugandans. And that was the basis of changing that. Yes, as you said, Tanzania put that, because you see we have been a part of that engagement of developing the East African migration policy, and Tanzania was very, very concerned about opening up for the informal sector, They want people to go at the professional level, but not in the informal sector. And I think that's what they have now done. And I don't think it contradicts the spirit of the East African community, because you see, we declared at what level do you want people to move. We have those specified skills where you want, and if you declared that for you want at this level, but not at the informal sector level, then you will not be contradicting the spirit. But I think this is still one of the issues that the leaders of the countries can start talking about and come up with a solution. And then the last question was on how does the ministry say that the companies are doing what they are supposed to do. We have a fully fledged unit called the External Employment Unit. It monitors what the recruitment companies are doing, and it does regular inspections, it does routine inspections, and spot inspections. These are inspections which are not announced. You just appear at an office and do your inspection. So I think with that, I think we are trying to see that they really operate within the law. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Essie. Sergeant, kindly proceed.
Okay. Thank you so much to the audience, both physical and online, and to Shamil, the citizen, for this intriguing question. The citizen, Shamil, who represents all other citizens, the 45 million, asks the political wing that, picking from experience in the previous election, internet services were switched off in this country. And his question is, assuming a similar experience or occasion happens during the 2026 election, what would I and my colleague and all other leaders, all other politicians out there do? One, protect the votes, but most importantly, two, which he did not ask, to protect the rights of Ugandans who should have access to information. This is a challenging question, but there must be an answer, and this is my opinion. What the citizen asks is fundamental in as far as it touches the basic right of every Ugandan. That's Article 29, read together with Article 41 of the Constitution, that gives Ugandans freedom to express themselves, but also the right to access information. So we are fast into a digital world, and that's why you see behind here, they're saying digital transformation. Even the law society is moving into a digital transformation. So realize, switching off the internet will basically affect rights to information, to access to information, but also right for people to express themselves about what is happening at their various areas of election. The most important thing would be, the question would be, how does switching off the internet affect credibility, affect validity of an election result? Because even the elections themselves have been digitalized, that we have the biometric machines that are usually used in the election. But your worry is not the functionality of those machines that often use data, but your worry is, how does a politician protect the votes? I'm picking from the experience of the people whom I seek to represent. Maruzi North, where I come from, is 95% not digital. So in other words, switching off internet will not jeopardize an election process in Maruzi North. That's my answer. But if you come for leadership, you must be able to offer solutions. So where is the solution? The solution is not with the government. The solution is with the people. The election is done by the people. The results are for the people, and those results must be protected by the people. So my duty is, one, to sensitize my voters that yes, there are chances that we are supposed to have had electronic data center where by 6 p.m. we should be having all the tally sheets or declaration forms scanned and sent to us. But in the event that the internet is switched off, we have an alternative, because we are duty bound to ensure that the elections are not only free and fair, but that we participate effectively to ensure that they're free and fair. So as a politician, I would put in mechanisms to ensure that manually we collect this data. However, it's now important to make this statement because I'm seeking to be a legislator, a representative of the people. Switching off internet is done for various reasons. We need to observe that an election is not an end to a means in itself, that everything should come to a standstill in an area or in Uganda because there is an election. We must observe that besides the election, the state and its agencies still have a duty to protect citizens of Uganda and their properties. So the question would be, why is the internet being switched? Is it for a plausible reason that is beneficial to all the 45 million Ugandans, or it's for a few selfish individuals? I would conclude therefore by saying our worry should not be on whether internet will be switched or not. Our worry should be, are the election organizers prepared to organize a free, fair, and credible election? Thank you.
Thank you so much, Sergeant. We appreciate that answer. The question for Mrs. Harriet Naigaga, right? No more mistakes. What steps can be taken to ensure that the party's electoral commission is impartial and effective in managing primary elections? Because you have spoken of sadness alone. Sorry. What steps can be taken to ensure the party's electoral commission is impartial and effective in managing primary elections? I think the person was listening in and heard you speak and seems to allude that you were sad about everything. So wondering what steps, in your view, would you suggest that the party can undertake to, make the elections at primary level be fairer and more impartial? Thank you, please.
Thank you so much. To me, I see a solution here is to always engage independent people, or I'll call external supervisors. I talked about it then.
Yes.
I'm the candidate, I supervise myself. Then the so-called administrators who are leading everything, they supervise themselves. So if we have an independent body which is running that, then maybe the elections can be fair, because they will come and they will compare the information on the ground with what they are declaring.
Sure.
Yeah, that's what I have.
Okay, thank you so much. Any questions in-house? We have coming to the close of this session. Are there any questions in-house? Thank you so much for those that have sent questions online. We continue to thank you for interacting with us and keeping the panel busy, because that is already evidence enough that we are together online. Our crowd is actually bigger online, because in the house we have secretariat and staff for whom we are very grateful for making time to attend these sessions. and as well as the general public that walks in on invitation. We want to thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. We would like to thank the panelists for the very, 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 very important interaction. Very mind-provoking and mind-boggling kind of discussion, and we really hope and pray that the Lord will bless you in your endeavors. AC, we're thankful, because we could never have gotten this information if you had not come. We thank you for honoring the invitation. We were able to send out invitations, like you said, to different organizations and government departments, but for you to honor the invitation, we are really appreciative. Thank you for answering the questions and giving us a debrief about labor externalization and trafficking in persons. Ladies and gentlemen, we are coming to a close of this session, but before we go, last week we had a very crazy frenzy in the house and we launched the Tech Fest. And it was a blast. We want to thank those that attended last week, especially as well those online, because the Radical New Bar in its vision 2060 is going digital transformation. And this year, instead of the ALC that we're all used to, the annual law conference, we are going digital, and we have a legal tech fest that is going to be taking place next week on the 14th and 15th, and would like to use this platform to remind the members, the general public, the members of the Uganda Law Society of what is coming. There is so much that is going to be unveiled. We would like to invite Miss Ruth Angom to come and brief us about the highlights in the preparation, the ups and downs, the nitty-gritty of what is expected, so as to be in position to enjoy the Radical New Bar in its vision 2060. Ladies and gentlemen, members of affairs, Ruth Angom. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Robert, and thank you, our speakers. Yes, so as Robert has given that introduction, I'm here. My name is Angom Ruth. I am the Program Officer for Professional Development at the Professional Development and Members Affairs Department of the Uganda Law Society. So I'm here to talk about the Digital Transformation Festival. Yes, so just as Robert has alluded, the Digital Transformation Festival is a radical rebranding of the annual law conference. We've been having the annual law conference for the past 7 years, but this year, with the Radical New Bar Governing Council, we have, in line with the 2060 vision, we have the Digital Transformation Festival that is taking place. It's slated for the 14th to the 15th of August, which is just next week. We are calling out, encouraging our members, please, 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 and please, you do not want to miss out on this. You should actually be having that fear of missing out, because it's going to be grand. We are having numerous exhibitors that are coming. Some are coming all the way from, abroad, and it's going to be epic. So please, please, please make it a point to be there for the Digital Transformation Festival. I'll just dive into the fees. So we are having, for physical attendance, the fees are 400,000 shillings for young lawyers. Young lawyers are basically those that are below 5 years in practice. And then we have 500,000 for the others. So those above 5 years in practice, it's just 500,000 for the 2 days of the conference. And it's going to be at the prestigious Commonwealth Resort, Munyonyo. Yes, so you really don't want to miss out on that. Then we are having another category, which is for the non-lawyers. So we are calling out to all the techies, those that are interested, even though you have friends or colleagues that are not necessarily advocates, but would like to take a part in the Digital Transformation Festival. Please encourage them. The fees are just 1 million shillings for the non-lawyers, but it's going to be worthwhile. So please encourage your friends. We are opening it to everyone. And then for the online attendance, in case you're not able to be there physically present, you can attend online. It's 200,000, and this cuts across all categories at just 200,000. Yes, and this Digital Transformation Festival, aka the Tech Fest, is 10 CLE points, so you wouldn't want to miss out on that. Yes, and these fees include entrance to the festival, the gala. We're going to have a gala and an award ceremony. So let's endeavor to be there. And then also, we have, in addition to the CLE points, we have also lots of other rewards for lucky winners of the Digital Transformation Festival, courtesy of the Radical New Bar. Yes, we have a Mercedes-Benz to be won, bang the Benz. Yes, we have a trip for 2 to either of the 3, travel destinations. There is Dubai, there is Toronto, there is South Africa, Cape Town. So you never know that you could be one of the lucky winners. So please ensure you're there. And then we also have appliances to be won, both gadgets and appliances to be won. So let's endeavor to be there for the Tech Fest, the Digital Transformation Festival. You can reach out to any member of the Uganda Law Society Members Affairs, Professional Development and Members Affairs Department for further inquiries. And you can make payments. You can make payments using the online payment system that has been shared on our emails and the various social media platforms. It breaks down the details on how to make payment. The steps are very easy, so let's embrace that. You can just scan the QR code and you'll see how to make payments. So thank you so much for this opportunity, and I hope to see you all at that Digital Transformation Festival. Thank you. Yes? How do you win? Oh, okay. So, how to win? Of course, terms and conditions apply. However, to be eligible to win, you need to be physically present. So, if you buy a ticket, a physical attendance ticket, you qualify to be in the raffle draw. So, you could be one of the lucky winners. We have someone here already interested. Yes. So thank you so much. Any other questions? No other questions. All right. Thank you so much.
A round of applause for the Professional Development and Members Affairs Department. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. We've come to the close of this function today. We want to thank the members of the Secretariat. We want to thank the media. We would like to thank the general public. We would like to give a very big thanks to the Council and management of the Uganda Law Society under the able leadership of Isaac K. Semakade, Senior Counsel, for the blessing and the leadership. And we are so honored that we have had you today. We are so grateful for your time and would like to thank you and pray that the Lord bless you as you go about your other duties, especially those that are here physically present back to work. We'd like to thank you for the time and pray that we shall meet again next Thursday. Thank you so much. Let us go in peace and we serve the Lord as we remember next Thursday, 14th and 15th is the Tech Festival. All roads are leading to Munyonyo Speak Resort, and there is a Benz for you to win. There is various prizes. Why don't you want to be the lucky one? Why don't you want to be seen to be in a Benz? Go inside walking and come out riding in a Benz. Thank you so much. We are so grateful to all the different stakeholders who have made this day a success. I am Robert Benonjurua. I thank you for the opportunity. God bless. Thank you.